you're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Katzimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
Well, we are back here on Katz and Cosby. We're also looking at our WABC poll to see if is she going to do a debate or not do a debate.
Doug Schoen, what do you think? We have a poll, and our listeners are saying that 67% of our listeners are saying something's going to happen and it's not going to happen, and 32% saying that she will show up.
Yeah, I think she'll show up. I think she'll show up once. Whether she shows up again is very much to me an open question. But my sense is she's going to show up, and it'll be up to Trump to try to make the case against her, which so far he hasn't.
Where does she end up in better shape? If she gets sick and doesn't show up and stay in the basement like President Biden did in 2020, or if she shows up and really screws up?
I think she does better if she shows up, holds her own, doesn't embarrass herself, and makes a credible showing, and then goes back to the basement.
How do you think she did in the interview, Doug? I mean, I actually thought she would have done better. I don't think she did a good job.
No, I don't think so either. But the question is not, did she do a good job or not, but did it hurt her in the polls? And I don't think, Rita, that it hurt her much in the polls. So while the interview wasn't that great, it was 16 minutes. She gave them, basically memorized answers, and so far doesn't look like it's caused her much harm.
Is it too early to tell, Doug? Because
it may be. That's a fair point. But look, she didn't hit it out of the park. And I think most observers believe that she got an extraordinary bump out of the circumstances of her selection as the nominee, a successful convention. And I think, the electorate is evenly divided in this country. We saw that in 2016 and 2020, and I think there's every reason to believe we'll see the same in 2024.
Yeah, it's going to be a nail-biter. Peter King.
Yeah, Doug, great to talk to you as always. Happy Labor Day.
Same to you,
okay.
Congressman.
As far as the polling, obviously her numbers went up dramatically after she was selected by Joe Biden to be a successor. She did not get a big bump out of the convention. So is it mainly that the numbers have gone back to what they were before Biden's downfall? I mean, it seems to me that we're basically where we were for the last 3 years almost. Or certainly, where we were 4 years ago.
I think she got her bump with her selection. Right. I think the convention did very little for her. The last three credible polls that I've seen have it about +1 for her, which effectively is a tie. And then you add in the fact that Trump always underpolls his vote. You're looking at an election that, to me, is effectively tied. And I guess if I had to bet today, I'd bet on Trump. But it's very close, as it was in the last two elections.
What do you think about all the RFK stuff? And now Tulsi Gabbard is apparently helping him also with debates. But you've got Tulsi Gabbard last week interviewing in the sort of town hall style with Trump. You have also RFK out there. Do you think that helps them, and especially if they get more active sort of on the campaign trail? And what if like a Nikki Haley gets out there on the campaign trail for Trump?
I think Nikki Haley can do more than all of them for him, if in fact
I agree. Yeah.
She gets out on the stump. And if I were Trump, I would get her out on the stump because he needs her votes. That being said, I think two of the unrecognized benefits that he has are Cornel West and Jill Stein. They could get a couple of points away from Kamala Harris, and that could be enough to elect him. And I think JFK Jr.'s vote will probably go to her on balance, and that could be worth another point and a half to him.
Yeah, which in a tight election is everything.
Exactly.
What about Doug? We finally saw President Biden today. He got off the beach. He was on the beach for a while. He gets off the beach. And he is apparently going to be with her today in Pennsylvania and says that he's going to be with her a bit in the next few weeks. Does that help her, hurt her? What do you think?
I think they want him to campaign so they can't say, oh, you know,
she kicked him in the back, or
right. But on the other hand, if I were working for her or her, I would say, Mr. President, we don't want to overstress you. One appearance in Philadelphia, maybe one the end of the month, one in early October, a get out the vote rally, and thank you very much.
Doug, this is Pete King again. I don't want to make any kind of a political issue out of the hostages being killed in Israel. And maybe it was just a bad moment for Tim Walz. But when he was asked what he thought about it today, he was standing there eating an ice cream cone, and he walked away. He said, "That's it."
Yeah, he didn't answer.
To me, that is such a question that anyone running for office should have just taken the opportunity to denounce Hamas.
Congressman, anyone who is a thinking, caring person should condemn in the strongest possible terms the brutality of a vicious, sick, twisted terrorist group, Hamas. They knew the Israelis were coming, and they killed them in cold blood. That's not politics. That is just
so. Why would Walz? Is there any excuse at all for Walz?
No, not that I can think of.
To me, it was disgraceful. It's morally indefensible.
Yeah, you know what? And Doug, let's be honest. Yeah. I mean, they seem to be trying to placate Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. It's in Minnesota. I hate to say that,
but those assassinations should have crossed every line.
Yeah, I agree, Pete.
Well,
I agree.
What Congressman King said is what I believe. You can have any view you want on how to resolve this, on a peace treaty, permanent ceasefire, temporary ceasefire. You can have any view you want. What Hamas did to those 6, including one Israeli American,
it's reprehensible.
Is an obscenity that should be seen as such.
I agree, which is why, Doug, it wasn't a trick question for Governor Walz. I 100% agree. And the fact he dodged on it, to me, was really telling, really sadly, very, very telling. Doug, we love you. Thank you so much for being here, Doug, on Labor Day.
Thank you.